Welcome to Art Inspired Yoga at the Barry Art Museum. My name is Leah of Rise and Shine. This flow, we're highlighting Debora Moore's Pink Lady Slipper Bamboo, gifted by Connie and Mark Jacobson, and Kiko Bamboo Pink Lady Slipper, gifted by Carolyn Kay and Richard F. Barry III. Debora Moore is a prolific maker and creator and artist hailing from Seattle, Washington. For many years, her work was exclusively dedicated to a joyful sculptural exploration of orchids, a fascination that stemmed from a chance encounter at a hardware shop. She draws in watercolors the orchids she sees in her travels and her sketchbooks, and these become references for her sculptures. As a result, her style is much more personal than clinical. If you enjoy programming such as this, please consider becoming a member of the Barry Art Museum. We'd love to have you. Welcome to the yoga portion of our Inspired Yoga. As you can see on the wall behind me is Debora Moore's two pieces, Pink Lady Slipper Bamboo and Kiko Bamboo Pink Lady Slipper. We're going to start off this flow on our back, so gently come down to your mat, get comfortable, relax your shoulder blades down into their sockets. You want to pull your right knee into your chest, grabbing at either your shin or hamstring. Your left leg can be extended out, or you can keep your left knee bent, whatever feels better for you. Since we are warming up, I'm preferring to keep my left knee bent as well. Let your right foot be flexed or pointed, basically wanting to send energy through our feet all the way down to our toes. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, pull your knee in closer towards your chest, feeling both a lengthening in your left hamstring and also a stretching in your right hamstring as you pull it in. Gently release your right leg. Let your left leg come into your chest now. Option to extend your right leg straight or have your right knee bent. Again, make sure your shoulder blades are relaxed down, keeping your neck nice and long. Keep breathing. See how this sensation feels in your body. Today's flow is going to have repetitious movement, and the point of this is to build muscle memory, but also playing on the idea that bamboo is so strong, yet it doesn't break, right? It'll bend before it breaks. So playing with that idea and exploring this idea of strength, how we built it in ourselves, how our breath connects to our body, helping us build more strength, and really just grappling and exploring this idea of bending rather than breaking. One hand comes on your heart, one on your belly, grounding ourselves, connecting with our body more. Our knees are knocked in towards each other. Gently heel-toe your feet back to center, grabbing both legs now, coming in towards your chest. Feeling nice and rooted here, wherever you choose to grab, either at your hamstrings or shins. Be here for a moment. Set an intention for your practice, perhaps. Keep breathing. Whatever the intention is you set, maybe it was strength, you can let that go. Now go ahead and just gently rock side to side, massaging your lower back. Now from the side to side, see if you want to rock up and down your spine, or you can just gently push yourself up from your side. Whatever you choose, let's meet in tabletop. You can make fists with your hands if that feels better for you. Warming up our spine further. Inhale, drop your belly to cow. Exhale, arch your back to cat. I always love to tuck my chin in to my chest for cat. Drop your belly again for cow. Come up to cat. Again, we're bending our spine here gently, just to warm it up, but also building strength. On your next cat, release your fists if you made them. Send your hips back. Come into your first child pose of class. Extend your arms out nice and long in front of you, still pushing through your palms. Let your heels and hips strive to meet each other. You can always make a pillow with your fists, or place a block under your forehead so you can let the ground come up to you. As we're here in child's pose, Breathe in, see how that feels. Now that your chest is coming towards your thighs, there's a bit of a compression, so see how that breath feels as opposed to when you were on your back, nice and open. Our breath is a big part of yoga and not just the physical postures we do, so be mindful of it. And you can always come back to this child's pose and your breath whenever you feel like you might want to recollect yourself. Now, gently thread your right arm underneath your chest. Your left arm can extend in front of you, or you can bend your left hand, so your right temple and right shoulder are on the ground. Just a soft, subtle twist. Again, warming up, building heat gradually so that we can be more bendable and not completely break. See how this sensation feels in your shoulder. Maybe relax your shoulder down a bit more. Release your right arm. Left arm comes out to your side and now threads through. Your left temple, left ear, left shoulder are on the ground. Right arm again can be straight in front of you, or you can bend at your right elbow, bringing your hand closer to your face. Whatever feels better for you. Even as you're here in a somewhat stationary posture, see how it feels on your shoulder when you might move it up an inch or two. Notice how those sensations feel. Notice how your breath is moving in this posture. Give yourself a full deep cycle of breath. Let go of your left hand. Gently push yourself back up to hero's pose. So we're sitting on our heels and we're going to rise up to our knees. Hips are squared forward. Let your right foot come in front now. Low crescent pose here. Hands can stay at your hips, your quads, or you can extend them upwards. You want to pretend like you have that string pulling up. As this feels better, maybe bend a little deeper into your right foot. Bend a little deeper into your right knee, feeling more of an opening in your left hip flexor. Inhale, arms can come overhead. Rotate your pinkies towards each other like you're holding a ball. Exhale, cactus your arms, pulling your elbows down. Feeling a nice stretch in your shoulder blades there. Bringing our hands to our hips now. Inhale here. Straighten your right leg, pushing back, and switch back to knees. Left leg's turn. Left leg comes in front. You might have to wiggle your left foot out further in front of you to allow more space for this stretch. Again, your hands can rest at your quadriceps, or they can come up overhead. Just make sure your shoulder blades are relaxed down into their sockets. Really focusing here on staying nice and tall through the spine. Our left foot is grounding us, and we're really feeling a nice opening in our right hip flexor. Make sure you're keeping that nice full cycle of breath. Straighten through your left leg, hands on your hips for balance. Send your left foot back. Tuck your toes under now and sit in hero's posture. So we're sitting on our feet. This is quite the sensation for some. We're stretching out our arches of our feet here. Now gently go ahead, roll up one vertebra at a time to standing. We're going to travel just walking our left foot in front, right foot comes back. Again, seeing what feels good for us, taking up space on our mat, opening up to warrior two, strong bend in our left leg, and we're just going to bend and straighten our left leg here. Adding more heat gradually and more strength, warming up. Our right pinky toe edge of our foot is still sealed against the ground. Arms are nice and strong. Look over your left middle finger. Doing your best. Nice. Straighten out your left leg now. Let both toes be parallel to the side of your mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hinge forward from the hips, wide-legged forward fold. With our wide-legged forward fold, you want to shift your weight into the balls of your feet. Your hands can rest under your shoulders. Maybe you come down to your forearms like I'm doing here. You can always use blocks to bring the floor up to you as well. Even as you're in this wide-legged forward fold, your legs are still engaged, so you can feel your kneecaps lifting. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Engage your core, lift up with a flat back. So now we're going to turn our right toes out towards the back of our mat, which is now our front of our mat. Open up to Warrior Two. Straighten your right knee and then rebend into it. Straighten your right leg. See what feels good. Adjust. Maybe you come closer to your other foot. Again, yoga is movement, right? So if you have to adjust yourself to a posture to make it feel absolutely right for you in this moment, do so. Finding strength and stillness in this Warrior Two. Noticing our breath. Make sure it's a full cycle of breath, not too shallow. Straighten your right leg now. Turn your toes parallel back to the side of the mat. Lift your chest and come down for a wide-legged forward fold. Again, shift your weight into the balls of your feet. See where you can go. Maybe you go to your forearms. Maybe you reach around your ankles. Another option is you can take a bind, interlacing your hands behind your back. You can grab your big toe and gently pull your chest down further using that as leverage. See what you like to do. Engage your quads. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release, forward fold. Hands on your hips. Inhale, keep a flat back as best you can. Rise up. All right. Now we're just bringing our feet back together. Shake it out, shake it out. We're going to face our traditional front of our mat now. Inhale, arms overhead, extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees so deep here. Our knees are really bent. We're just rocking side to side, painting rainbows with our hands. Never forcing a movement, just doing what feels best in our body. Plant your left hand now and twist over to your right side. So your right hand and left hand are stacked. Come back down. Knees are softly bent. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, forward fold. Knees bent again. This time, plant your right hand. Twist open to your left side. Your right knee can keep bent. Maybe you try to straighten it, see what feels good, but do your best to keep your left leg straight. Maybe your other leg will also straighten. Inhale, halfway lift. Good. Exhale, release, forward fold. Bend your knees so deep and roll up one vertebra at a time. Head's coming up last. Inhale, arms overhead again. Maybe add a slight back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your palms. Gently step back now. Your left foot back, right foot's in front. Gently rocking back and forth in this runner's lunge. Plant your left hand. Twist open to the right side now. Here's that repetition of movement I mentioned earlier in class. How does this feel now that you're more warm, now that your body's more used to this movement? Bend your left knee. Let it meet your right, so now you're in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, keeping a nice, strong, flat back. Exhale, plant your palms. Step your right foot back now, left foot in front. Gently rocking back and forth in this runner's lunge. Plant your right palm down to the mat. Twist open to your left. Doing your best to stack your shoulders and hands over each other. Plant your left palm again, gently rocking back and forth. Bend your right knee, step forward to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step or hop back to high plank. Shift up. Hold this plank and drop your knees. Come back to child's pose. See how your breath feels here. See how you feel here. Remembering we don't ever have to muscle our way through a flow or through a pose, right? We want to literally flow through this class and through the postures, yeah? Come on back to tabletop. Now bring your right leg to the outside of both hands. We're going to be here in lizard. You may want to shift and slightly rotate your foot onto the pinky edge. If that feels better for you, go ahead and do so. Just be careful. Make sure that your ankle and knee are still stacked one over each other. With this lizard pose, perhaps you want to drop down to your forearms. Just like the options in wide-legged forward fold, you can use your blocks. You can stay lifted on your palms, whichever. Release your right leg back to your left. Come back down to Child's Pose now. Rise back up, tabletop. Left leg's turn. Left foot comes to the outside of both hands. See what feels best for you, really feeling a deeper hip opening. Our low crescent lunges prepared us for this intense lizard pose. Again, maybe you rotate out onto your left pinky edge of your foot. If you do so, please make sure your knee and ankle are stacked with each other, keeping that strong alignment. Maybe you want to deepen the stretch by lowering down to your forearms or stay lifted. Gently send your left leg back. Hips shift back to your heels. We're here in Child Pose again. Bring both hands over towards your right side now, feeling a gentle stretch and lengthening along your left side of your body. Your forehead still down. Gently now walk your hands back to center, making their way over to the left side. Again, still in this Child's Pose, just our arms are out on diagonals. Hands come back to center, and now closer to your shoulders. Gently push up, but you're going to bring the crown of your head to the ground. Just seeing how that feels. And push up all the way. Let's come back now. All right, we're going to face the wide edge of our mat, sitting up nice and tall. You can bring your soles of your feet to touch or sit cross-leg style, whichever feels best for you. Again, staying lifted, like there's an imaginary rope pulling you upwards from the crown of your head. However you choose to sit, soles of your feet together or cross-legged. Fold forward. See if you can still feel a lift in your chest as you hinge down from your hips. Wherever you are hinging forward from your hips, maybe you're on blocks, maybe your forearms are on the ground. Walk yourself back up. Now this time extend your right leg out. Gentle twist from your torso. Lower your chest towards your right foot. Keep a strong bend in your right knee. If you ever feel pain, that's a clue to bend your knees. If you can, see if you can hug your foot with your hands and lower your forehead towards your knee. Right, gently walk back up. Left foot's turn now. So bend your right knee. Let the sole of your right foot come to your inner left thigh. Twist your shoulders so they're squared towards your foot. Keep a strong bend in that left knee. Eventually, maybe straightening it as you use your hands to help lower your chest and your head further down towards your left knee. The awesome thing about yoga, it's always a yoga practice. So we do the same postures, and day to day, even repeating the same posture, it feels different in our body, yeah? Gently shake out your neck here, just a little loosening. Come on up back to tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Shift your hips up to our first downward dog of class. Feel free to keep a strong bend in your knees here. Lift up on your heels and lower down. Bend your knees here. Gently walk your feet towards your hands, meeting in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, swoop your arms overhead. Extended mountain pose. Fingers are intertwined except for our index fingers. Gently reach over towards your right side. We did a little stretch in our Child's Pose. Now we're deepening that stretch here, standing up tall. Hips come to the right while we reach over to our left. Come back to center. Now bend down, forward fold here, and now release your hands. See if you can bring your forehead even closer towards your shins. Wrap your hands behind your ankles here so they're around your calves. Gently tug closer. Release, come up, halfway lift. Plant your palms, send your left foot back again. So we're here on a runner's lunge one more time. Left palm is rooted. Right hand comes up and then comes back behind you. Nice. Bring your right hand back to frame your foot. Step your left foot to meet your right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. Spiral your arms up, extended mountain pose. Interlace your fingers, bend over now. Reach over to the right side, come back tall. Reach over to the left side. Making sure we keep our biceps by our ears the whole time. Now release your hands, hands on your hips here. Deep breath in. And just look back. Look back, preparing for some back bends. If you want, you can always go against the wall to practice back bends, or you can hold onto a chair or counter. Back bends can be really tricky, so go at your own pace. If you feel comfortable with lifting your arms up, do so. Just look behind you, gently pushing your hips forward. See if you can see the wall behind you. Always keep your chest lifted, even as we're doing a back bend. Maybe your hands are intertwined, pushing your hips forward as you look back and come back up to neutral. Nice. Bend down to forward fold, planting your palms. Right foot comes back this time. Plant your right palm, left arm comes up. Gently lower your left hand behind you now, like you're shaking someone behind you's hand. Left arm comes up, framing your left foot with your right hand. Step your right foot to meet your left. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, reverse swan dive. Arms come overhead. One more time on this repetition. Reach to the right. See how much your body's warmed up to this posture. Come back up to neutral. Now reach over to your left. Feeling a nice stretch on your side body. And back up tall. Inhale here, lift your chest. Do your back bend here. Pushing your hips forward, looking behind. And exhale, forward fold. Arms are still intertwined. Eventually releasing them, planting your palms, stepping back to high plank. Nice. Now gently lower your knees, untuck your toes. Bring your right foot to the outside of both hands, revisiting lizard pose one more time. Again, if you go onto the pinky edge of your foot, make sure your knee and ankle are stacked. See what feels best for you in this lizard pose. Maybe you see you can go a little lower. Maybe you notice that you're feeling more of an opening in your hip flexor joints. Right? Tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee, just to help you bring your right knee back towards it. Regroup here in a child's pose. Left side's turn, left foot comes out. Lizard pose on the left. All right, so both of our hands are to the right of our left foot. Seeing how this hip opener feels now. Nice. Send your left foot back to meet your right. Be in child's pose. Your arms can be extended in front of you, or you can wrap your arms around your heels. Now see how this feels when you lift your hips off your heels and try to go onto the crown of your head. It's like a mini inversion for us. Gently push up, sitting down hero's posture. We're facing the side of our mat again. Stay up nice and tall. We're revisiting this hinging forward from our hips. Again, see how this feels. Feel free to make fist pillows or use a block under your forehead. Lift back up. Right foot's extended, left leg is bent, left sole of our foot to the inside of our right thigh. Keep a nice bend in your right knee as you reach towards your right foot. Eventually, maybe your forehead meets your right knee, or maybe you got a little further this time around. Lift back up nice and tall. Left leg comes out, right knee bends. Stay lifted through your chest. Gently twist from your torso and reach for your foot. Again, feel free to keep a nice bend in your left knee. Bent knees and using yoga props like blocks or straps really help our practice and help us keep our good form. All right, go ahead and sit back up tall. Let your soles of your feet come together now, still remaining nice and lifted through the chest. Bring your knees together, close them like a book. Come onto all fours, shifting our hips up to downward dog. Inhale, right leg comes up, three-legged dog. Exhale, your right knee now is going to come into pigeon pose. So your right knee is close to your right hand. Our hips are still squared. With Pigeon Pose, this is, again, a very big hip opener. You may want to use a block and place it on the outside of your right hip. Perhaps you stay lifted. Maybe you prefer to lower down like I am here. Our goal with Pigeon is to make sure that our hips are still squared to the front of our mat. We're not necessarily leaning onto our right or left side. You're going to feel a really nice hip opening on our left hip especially. Your right shin does not have to be parallel to the mat. What we're focusing on here is our hips being squared. Gently now tuck your left toe under, lift your left knee so it's easier to bring your knees together. Shift up, downward dog, three-legged dog on the left side. Left knee comes into center. Bring your left knee towards your left wrist. Pigeon Pose, other side. Extend your right leg nice and long behind you. Again, if you use a block here, maybe you're going to use your block on the outside of your left hip. Maybe you lower down, maybe you stay lifted. See what feels best for you, feeling that nice juicy hip opening. Keep breathing. Pigeon posture can be a little uncomfortable at times. We never want to move to the point of pain, but we do realize that we grow strength, right? We grow strength when we see how much we can tolerate the discomfort. Gently tuck your right toes, lifting your right knee, joining both legs now, shifting our hips up for down dog. Good job, everyone. Ripple forward to high plank. Lower your knees gently to the mat. Shift back. Let your feet come in front of you. And come back to your back, just like we started class in. Bring your right knee in towards your chest, grabbing at your shin or hamstring. Left leg can be lengthened out or bent, just like we did in the beginning of the class. How does this posture feel now? All right, release your right knee, bring your left leg into you now. Maybe you pull your left knee so in towards your chest, you bring it to the outside of your chest, completely avoiding your rib cage there. Nice. Release your left leg now. Now hug both knees into your chest. Even with a slight compression, still keeping a full breath cycle here. Release both knees, let the soles of your feet come to touch in Supta Baddha Konasana. Both hands can be on your belly or one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Just how we started class, we're also going to end it. Good. Close your knees together like a book. Shimmy your feet as wide as your mat. Let your knees knock in towards each other for some restorative rest here. Now gently lift your shoulders off the ground, squeeze every muscle of your body, and release from that tucked cannonball to Shavasana. You can feel free to stay in this Shavasana as long as your day allows. In Shavasana, this is where the magic of yoga truly starts. Perhaps we revisit this idea of being like bamboo, being strong enough to bend so that we don't break, knowing when we can maybe go with the flow a bit more rather than having to force, and seeing what good that does for us. Keep breathing here. Again, you can stay in the Shavasana as long as you like, or you can go ahead and gently sit up tall. Thank you again so much for joining. Namaste. Take care and be well, everyone. Come visit the Berry Art Museum and see this beautiful exhibit in person.